This podcast is intended for mature audiences only.
Hi, my naughty friends. I'm cuckoldress Lexie Meadows, and welcome back to the Cuckold Marriage Podcast. Today, we're joined by two of the most recognizable voices in the cuckold community, Ben and Roxy Dover. Through their Normalize Cuckolding movement, along with the Cuckold Menu and the Cuckold Spectrum, they've helped countless couples realize there isn't just one right way to explore this lifestyle. So today, we're diving into the inspiration behind those ideas and how the community is evolving, and some of their favorite experiences over the years, and the advice that they give to couples if they were just beginning their journey. But before we jump into today's conversation, a couple quick announcements. First, I want to say a huge thank you to all of the cucks who have subscribed to my Fansly. I absolutely love interacting with you guys, getting to know you, showing you my naughty side. If you'd like to join or you're interested in booking a private chat with me, you can find everything on my website, cuckoldresslexie.com. And don't forget to follow us on Blue Sky at the Cuckold Marriage Pod for episode announcements, updates, and conversations with our amazing community. All right, let's get into it. Chris, my cuckie, you want to kick us off?
Yes, yeah, it's so good. It's good to be here with Ben and Roxy. So Ben and Roxy, we were introduced to the two of you on a Telegram group that we're in with real cucks and real bulls and real hot wives. It's pretty cool. And immediately when I saw the normalizing cuckolding work that you're doing, I knew that we had to have you on, because I think that's there's so many misconceptions about cuckolding. And we did a whole episode about the misconceptions. But really, when I looked at the work that you all were doing and the content on your page, it's so good. So thank you so much for being with us today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. We're so happy to be here.
Yeah. So why don't we start by kind of actually just tell us a little bit about you two. Tell us a little bit about your dynamic, how long you've been in the lifestyle, just anything to introduce yourself to our listeners.
So we met while swinging with our ex-spouses.
And that was about 12. Yes, that was about 12 years ago.
So I had been in the lifestyle probably for 10 years prior to that. And then we got together and we said, you know what, we're just going to slow down and build this relationship. We're not going to have anyone else involved. It's going to be just us. And 5 days later, good old Craigslist back then was bringing guys into our bedroom. So
I miss that.
Lexie was, I mean, I wasn't with Lexie at that time, but she tells me about her Craigslist days. I wish that stuff was still around. I get jealous that she had all that fun before me.
Yeah.
The good old days, I'll tell you.
So at that point, I already knew I was kind of a cuck. I enjoyed that piece of it. I got to the point where I swung so much, like it got vanilla. It wasn't that much fun for me. And I kind of needed that mental, mind fuck to like really get going. So I had a conversation with her about, hey, here's what I'm really into. I'd prefer it if maybe like you were just with guys, and being the slut that she is, she had no problem with that at all.
Yeah, I ran with it.
That's really interesting that and there's so many people in this lifestyle that started swinging first and then moved into this. And Lexie and I never did that. We never did the swinging. I mean, we went straight to Stag Vixen and then from Stag Vixen to cuckoldress. But your story is really interesting that you met when you were swinging with your ex-spouses. So now you started the Normalizing Cuckolding movement. If you had 5 minutes with somebody who immediately says, that's cheating, because that's what we get a lot, right? Is that's just cheating. What's the argument you'd make on what they're missing? If somebody said that's cheating, how would you all respond to that?
Well, it's definitely not cheating. We're both in it because we both want to be. You know what I mean? Like we both love the lifestyle.
Yeah, and one of the parts or one of the reasons we started the Normalized Cuckolding is, and we are guilty of this as well, but the porn has a stereotype to it that is not accurate at all. Like most stereotypical real life cucks usually are intelligent, emotionally mature. They have a very stressful life, usually like an alpha male out of the bedroom. And really it's a release in the bedroom that they're going for. That's me. Like outside the bedroom, I have to be big alpha, in charge of everything type male. And I'm over it. Like in the bedroom, just take it all away from me. I want the taboo. I want to lose it. I need that mental, I need something going on that's just taboo and wrong to actually like really get off. So that's kind of how we ended up here. And I want that. Like the reluctant cuck cleaning up a cream pie. I've never known an actual cuck who's not just diving in immediately because they're not really reluctant. They want that. Like that's not really the real stereotype. That's not what we come across. So it's really for both of us. I mentally need it and it's my stress relief. And well, she gets to
I get to
enjoy.
sleep with other men.
Mm-hmm. That's always nice
Fulfill
for
my
it, isn't it?
soul needs.
Yeah, and I mean, this is not going to be we're not going to release like a visual, aspect of this particular podcast, but you know, Ben is not a small guy. Ben is not the kind of guy you want to fuck with. If I saw you in a bar, Ben, I wouldn't screw with you. So like that's the stereotypical image of this like pathetic little cuck in the corner who is just
This
crying.
little weakling.
This little weakling who's crying as their wife is like doing like that's just not.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it makes a great porn. I mean, trust me.
It does make
know,
for
it ma- it
very
ma-
good porn.
Yeah, it makes for great porn. It's just not what really happens.
Well,
No.
and the issue we run into is in real life, all these bulls talk a big game online, and then they show up in my bedroom, and then they look up at me, and then all of a sudden it's all like out the window. There's performance problems, and we're not as dominant as we said we were going to be, and it turns into, it doesn't exactly help the scene being my size. So
Yeah, I can see that. So, what inspires you guys to create the Cuckold Menu? And was there a moment where you guys realized that maybe people were treating cuckolding like it's one activity instead of hundreds of possible dynamics?
So when we created the menu, we basically made it for our presentation that we had, just so people had like the visual.
yeah, there's no online tutorial, so we kind of had to throw something together to try to explain the lifestyle. And a couple of things that we tried to work through was the spectrum, because again, the stereotype doesn't exist and what people are into is all over the place. And then actually, when we gave our first presentation at Exotica, there was a gentleman in the audience who's like, what's really interesting about cuckolding, and he was into it, is the kink that holds all the other kinks. Almost like every other fetish can play into it. So it's almost like you're a guy who needs that mental, whatever to really get off, but then you can also incorporate all the other kinks and things that you're into as well. And then it creates a multitude of different ways to play.
Yeah, and it really does. I mean, really, and at the end, we're going to obviously, get your website and all that stuff. But when you look at it, it looks like a menu at a restaurant, and it's really interesting because one of the biggest takeaways for me from the cuckold menu is that there isn't one right way to be a cuckold. And I feel like a lot of times people try to box in like that's not real cuckolding, or that's that's
Yeah.
it, and it drives me bonkers.
Everyone thinks they know best.
Everyone thinks they know best,
Of
and there
course,
isn't one right way. Why do you think so many people in the community still try to gatekeep what real cuckolding is?
People are judgy and they want to feel better about themselves, I think.
And everyone fears the unknown. They fear what's different. And even in this lifestyle, I don't think a true cuck would gatekeep. Usually you're emotionally mature enough to just be like inclusive. Like if you've ever talked with the guys from Cuck My Life podcast. So Hopeful lived around here and we spent some time with him. We go to cigar bars and hang out. He's the number one, proponent of that. Like, don't tell someone they're doing something wrong. If you want to identify as that, let them identify. What doesn't bother you, just leave them alone. Do your own thing. Like, it's not like a big deal. He's 100% right. What does he always say? That everyone's mad about the sex that they're not invited to or they're not having. Like, just like everyone wants to get involved and get judgy. And I think with the normalized cuckold, and one of our big pushes was, listen, it's really about kink shaming. Don't kink shame.
Don't yuck my yum.
Exactly. So, like, that's what the whole thing is about. What really bothered us, I think, that really pushed us to the normalized cuckolding movement is it's like that in the lifestyle. Like, swingers are super judgy.
So
Like, they're the
judgy.
worst. Like, they're the ones who we've always run into are like, oh, you're doing what? Oh, just one of you are playing. They're the ones who are going to be like, it's
Yeah.
cheating because it's not fair. And it's like, you're on the fringe of society with us as well. And you're going to judge what I'm doing. Like, are you kidding me? Like, so really, that's where we'd really like to see some movement. I mean, ultimately, society at this point is not going to accept all of it, but like, if we could just get the lifestyle itself to just be open to the things going on inside of it without being judgy, that would be great.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. It does feel like that, and there's so many big events for swingers, and if we show up to one of them, it's almost yeah, you almost feel a little bit left out, or people look at you sideways. Like, especially
Yeah.
they're fine with Lexie, but they often look at me like, "Wait, you don't play?" And it's just this weird. And I'm like, "No, I don't. Like, I'm cool with that."
Yeah, they give us a look like, okay.
Just don't understand.
And then they go back and they hook up with other people, other than their partner. So yeah, I think it is a little bit judgy. Not all like that, by the way.
No,
Like,
no,
we've met some really cool swingers.
we're making some generalizations. It's not everybody. I'll always throw that out there, but a lot of
Right.
times that's what we've run into as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes, you'll meet couples because it's always the swingers at the lifestyle clubs and everything. And it'll be really awkward because it's like, hey, do you want to play with Lexie, but you can't play with Chris,
Mhm.
Right.
And so it's that we run into that awkward situation. I mean, we obviously haven't like hooked up with too many people at the sex club, but we've run into that before, and it was a very just awkward conversation. And um, so yeah.
But I mean, it's gone down okay. I mean, we have hooked up with people who are swingers, and that a lot of times they'll both be playing with Lexie, and I'll be there like playing with Lexie too. So a lot of times it becomes like everybody's focusing on her, which is kind of cool.
Guys, if you could add one item to the cuckold menu that isn't on there already, what do you think it'd be and why?
I think maybe more taboo stuff. Right?
yeah, the menu actually is a pretty, again, generalization of some of the more popular kinks. There's a whole lot more that's not on there. Much more extreme stuff. Like the whole BNWO type of fetish. What else is there? There's the cuck and mommy type of role play, little age regression. Like there's a bazillion different things. And again, we kind of just threw it together so you can kind of see some of the things. Because what we put it together as a presentation is, I think it was Cuckolding 101 is what we actually called the seminar. So I mean, I don't know how much deeper I would really go, because then you're gonna start answering a whole bunch of questions. That's gonna take forever.
That's
but-
true.
Is there something that couples or somebody's surprised about that they see on the menu where they're like, "Oh, I didn't even think about that."
I don't think we've run into too much of that. They've come and they've looked at it. I think people have seen stuff that they're into on there. And I think we've run into couples who've seen things on there that they're into and they're not a couple either. Like, oh, that's part of that as well. Like, you could do that in that type of relationship. Well, yeah, you can do whatever you want. There's no wrong way to do it. That's what's great about this. I will say that we were at Exotica and there was one guy who was running his mouth about cucks. Oh, stupid cucks. They're these weak little men, blah, 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 blah.
Really? At Exotica?
He was talking to me and he was like, "Oh, what's cuckolding?" And I was like talking about it and he's like, "Oh, like weak little men." And
And his friend was there and his friend's like, "No, it's not like that. It's not like that at all. You don't understand." And then she was like, "Hey, babe, come here for a
I
second."
was like, "Hey, can you come over here? And we want you to talk to this guy about cuckolding." And
And
the guy was kind of like, and the friend was like, "Go ahead, come on, tell him what you were saying."
Yeah, you're a little intimidated now, buddy.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm like, does he
It
look
is
like
funny.
does he look like a, poor little man sitting in a corner crying? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think it is funny sometimes when the bulls think that they're, I'm a trained fighter. Like I could beat the shit out of most of these people, but I choose not to. And that's what that's, I think, Ben, as a big guy, a strong guy too, I think that's part of what is powerful that we do is we lay down that power, right? We lay it down, we give it to our wives, and we let another guy have fun, and we don't have to, we're not being forced into this, like we're choosing this. And I think that's something that a lot of people miss is we're not these weaklings. I mean, look, in the bedroom, we may play that role, but it's not reality. It's a game.
Well, and the other thing too
Right.
is the compersion piece. Like
Right.
I get off on her getting off, which I think gets to a point where you're emotionally mature enough to put someone else in front of you. Like, listen, I get it. I have a small dick. She wants a giant dick. I can't change that. Okay. So go ahead. I will enjoy you doing that. And somehow, luckily, my brain got wired all screwed up and it gets off on that. So why not just lean into it and enjoy it?
Amen.
I completely agree with that. I mean, yeah, lean into that. Don't know why we're wired this way, but have fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Cuckold Spectrum you guys have, it challenges the idea that every couple follows the same path. Have you found that most couples tend to stay in one area of the spectrum, or do they naturally kind of evolve over time?
I think that everyone naturally evolves over time. I think the more you're doing it, the more like things you're doing, like on the menu.
Once you get
I
going,
just lost my train
you
of
have to
thought.
keep pushing that boundary to kind of get the same sexual satisfaction. Like
Yes.
when we're together and we're just having sex alone and it's just the two of us, the filthy things that we say during sex, like Jeff Bezos is going to have us arrested at some point with the Alexa sitting in this room with the things that you hear coming out of his bedroom sometimes. Like I think in what we see is that people slowly enter it. And if they're kind of captivated by it and they're into it, they're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. I mean, after you've done this for like 10 years, you're always kind of trying to find that next thing. Like that was really hot. Now we've done that 17 times. What else are we going to do? So I think the longer you've been in it, we see people get pushed further through that spectrum. And it's all over the place too. Sometimes become less submissive or more submissive. And it's really, again, like looking at it, it's a spectrum. Where are you on the spectrum? You could be anywhere. There's no wrong way to do it. And sometimes maybe you back up a little bit because you kind of got bored doing something else. So I think everyone evolves through it and you're going to see them all over the place trying out different things. I think once you start feeling comfortable with your partner and you can be open and honest, then you can really start to play around with it and start to explore those other things. So
Good answer. You
Yeah, I think that
right
the
to my
level of
center.
comfort with your partner is critical. I think that yeah, I mean, it's just so when I think to where we started and really started kind of very stag vixeny, and there was none of the teasing or humiliation that kind of stuff. I was always there to where we are now, and I'm just I don't know where we're going to end up, but you really do move down that spectrum, and it's okay. Like no matter where you are on that spectrum, whether you're more staggy or more cucky, you're still part of the team. And I think that's what I think that's what we need to do is be a little bit more inclusive about the way that we think about this stuff. There's no one way to do it.
right, do what you enjoy.
So
Just you get one shot at this, like life, like have fun. If
Yeah.
you enjoy it, go for it. And I think the other thing is relationships, cuckold relationships. Like she can literally tell me that guy fucks me better than you do. Like if you can be that honest with your partner, I mean, when it comes to oops, I spent too much money on the credit card, or, oh, I forgot to leave dinner out. Like you can have those conversations because the conversations you have in the bedroom are 10 times worse. So it makes the whole relationship better and stronger because the communication and the honesty. And I know that I can trust her to be 100% honest because if you tell me my dick's too small for you and other guys fuck you better, not much else that you're going to tell me that's going to upset me. So
yeah, I honestly think there's so much that a vanilla couple can learn from folks in the lifestyle about communication and honesty. I swear, like the level of intimacy that we have versus what I see out there in a lot of vanilla couples. I wish that I'm not saying everybody has to be in the lifestyle, but everybody needs to learn how to communicate better and be more intimate with each other in whatever way that looks like.
So you've been thinking about it. But turning fantasy into reality takes more than curiosity. It takes direction. I work with couples and individuals to guide you through the conversations and dynamics that make a cuckolding relationship actually work. Those first conversations and introductions to your fantasy are especially critical. Done right, it changes everything. Done wrong, it can break it. If you're ready to do it the right way, book time with me at cuckoldlexie.com.
You know, one thing is, do you see people spending too much time asking themselves the question, am I a real cuckold? Like do you see that? Have you had people say, am I really a cuck, or like, am I not? Like, have you heard that from guys?
So what's your feeling on cuck versus stag?
You're all
go ahead.
cucks. You're a cuck. If you're a stag, you're a cuck. You're all. If you watch your wife have sex with another man, you enjoy it, you're a cuck.
Like,
That's my feeling on it.
like there's a reason for labels, and it helps define where you're at. But when you look at like the definition of cuckold, it's just someone with an unfaithful wife. And then there's going to be degrees of that past that. So when someone's like, am I a cuck? Yeah, you are. And here's the thing, and we brought this up at one of the seminars, which kind of opens up people's minds. We're like, every one of those porn stars out there at Exotica in their booths, every single one of their boyfriends, they're a cuck. It's as simple as the definition. They're unfaithful. They're sleeping with someone else. So you got to get rid of the negativity and the stigma attached to cuckold, because people don't like that. Like, we worry about labeling ourselves due to a stigma attached to it, when the simple definition is someone who has an unfaithful wife. Like, they sleep with other people. You enjoy it. You don't enjoy it. You know, you're submissive to it. You like the humiliation. That's where the spectrum comes in. You're all cuckolds. It's just, where on that spectrum are you? So I think we've seen people struggle with, am I a cuck, only because they're worried about that negative connotation and how they're worried they'll be perceived.
So I think that that's all really good points. And actually, it reminds me of when we first started in the lifestyle and I identified as a stag. And quite frankly, part of it was I was afraid to give myself that label of cuck. Like, I was actually worried about it. And we were in a,
Know that?
yeah, I was actually kind of worried about it, like saying that. And I was almost kind of embarrassed. And we were in a lifestyle club, and somebody was asking, oh, so you're a cuck? And I said, I'm actually a stag. And the person actually said, there's not a lot of difference, dude. Like, I mean, your wife is getting done. There's natural humiliation in that. And then when we were in London, actually, at a lifestyle club, a woman said the same thing. Actually, I didn't say I was a stag. I was just described, so I don't play. She said, oh, so you're a cuckold. And at that time, I still didn't use the word cuckold. I think I started to shortly after that, but it just finally like sunk in me, and something saying like, yeah, you know what? That's what you are. Like, it's totally cool to say it. Like, it's just a word, cuck, stag, whatever. Like, one you think like macho, one you're prideful, and one you think is more humiliation. But it's not. I'm the same human being. I don't act any different when I call myself a stag than when I act than I act now that I call myself a cuck. I'm the same person. So I think that's a really good point y'all are making.
Yeah.
There's just such a huge stigma with the word cuck.
Yeah.
Especially
really
nowadays, where we're like in the political dialogue, it's being used as like an insult. It's being used as a which I find funny because go ahead.
I'll see those memes and I'm like offended. I'm like, a cuck would never do that. Absolutely not. That is bullshit.
There's normally some wimpy, political guy, using that as a slur, and I just I kind of laugh. I'm like, okay, dude, like, you're real macho. Like, come on.
Yeah. Both Ben and Chris here could kick that guy's ass. Easy.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had a couple that told you that they thought they wanted one thing, but then they looked at, the menu or the spectrum and realized that what they wanted was something completely different?
So I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
I'm not sure if we had couples come to us and say that.
I don't think we have had couples who want to just get into the lifestyle altogether.
Right.
And of course the guy's like, this is going to be awesome. Let's open up the relationship. And then he finds out it's a whole lot easier for her to find other partners. And then he finds no one. And then she's banging 35 dudes. And then he gets upset. And then they get divorced or something. I don't know. It's always a giant mess because it's a Pandora's box. Like once you open it to try to then be like, well, I know that you've enjoyed all that attention. And it's not even like the sex. I think like for Roxy, a lot of it's the attention she gets nonstop from everyone that she really enjoys. So
I do enjoy the attention.
yeah. So once you cut that off, then there's all kinds of problems. And then she's resentful. This was your idea. And then, so we've seen a lot of just try to get into the lifestyle. I think once you're in the lifestyle, and then you want to kind of go into like somewhere on the cuck spectrum, I think they have a pretty good idea kind of what they're getting into at that point. But we've seen some entrance issues into the lifestyle altogether with couples.
Yeah. Now, do you all have a female-led relationship in addition to the cuckolding?
Maybe in the bedroom, but we don't bring it outside the bedroom.
Okay.
Outside the
do you-
bedroom, he's kind of in charge.
If we had a real FLR, we would live under an overpass in a cardboard box with 6,000 pairs of shoes. Roxy's not good with making decisions. And oftentimes I need to come along to guide us to make adult decisions along the way. So outside of the bedroom, I'm still going to play the alpha male, which again plays into why I crave it so much in the bedroom, because between work and home and the kids and the bazillion other things I need to go deal with, like just someone come fuck her and jam my face in that cream pie. Like I just want to, like I want zero control whatsoever and humiliate the shit out of me and just let's do this.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And Lexie and I haven't talked a lot about our FLR because we're still, quite frankly, trying to figure it out. But I know one thing is I still make a good number of decisions, but it's to offload that responsibility from Lexie. So it's to in my mind, it's part of the FLR is taking that. For me, one of the biggest parts about the FLR is just relieving responsibility from her. Is trying to do as much as I can so that she doesn't have to do that, whether it's small things like filling up a glass of wine or bigger things. That to me is part of how we execute the FLR. But have you got questions from folks about FLRs? Do people make incorrect assumptions about that?
I don't think we've gotten many questions.
I don't think we've gotten questions. I think there's just the assumption that if you're a cuck, like you're a cuck across the board. Again, it goes back to the stereotype. Like he's not in control. Like she must be making all the decisions because she's banging other guys. Like it's not the case. I think everyone thinks that goes hand in hand. And again, looking at the spectrum, I believe I put that on there somewhere. That's like part of it. It doesn't have to be part of your cuck relationship. But for us, it's not. So.
Yeah. And in my coaching, I've come across lots of couples that are into the cuckolding lifestyle, but there is no FLR. And, he's more in charge. So, yeah, I don't think they have to go hand in hand at all. You guys have experienced so much together over the years. And looking back, what has been like your absolute favorite cuckold experience and what made it so unforgettable?
We have two separate experiences. Like he has one that was better for him and I have one. We had a situation where we were away with a bull, and I actually locked him up outside by his PA piercing, and I locked him outside the window that I was fucking the dude in, and it started downpouring out. So he
and I was locked to a
he
stake.
was locked to a stake in the ground, while we were inside, and I gave zero fucks that it was raining on him. So by the time I got to him, he was soaking wet. And that's my favorite experience.
That's epic. I love it.
So mine, this is why I got the PA piercing. So we had a weekend away with a bull again. I got a nice Airbnb, and then I came up with this great idea where we took me to a shitty little hotel, then locked my dick up by the PA piercing again to about 4 feet of chain to a 35-pound kettlebell. And then she left me in that hotel room and went and spent the night with him. like texting me, sending videos and shit. Then the next morning came back, had me eat her out because he just fucked her, eat the cream pie. She then pissed on me and then unlocked me. And then we went back to the Airbnb for the second night. So we spent the night apart while my dick was locked up to a chain, which was locked to like a 35-pound kettlebell. The big problem was showering that night. There's a lot of chain. It was really heavy. You had to make sure you're holding the chain. That was the nightmare. Aside from that, it was all hot. So
I mean, that's a really good story, and it was really hot, and it was a fun experience, but I really loved you sitting outside in the pouring
we could do
rain.
both again. I'm fine with both. That was hot too.
Hey, you got to combine the two sometime.
Yeah.
Man, both of those are so hot. I love, I think it's only happened one time, but there was one time where Lexie was with a bull in a hotel, and I was in a hotel room like 2 floors up. Oh my gosh, like that was so hot, or I just knew that she was like 2 floors down and just getting hammered. And then the next morning she had sex with him again, and then came upstairs. So I saw her like, you know, less than 2 minutes after she had finished with him, she came up to the hotel room. Oh my goodness, that was so fun. I love those experiences. So Ben, after you got inside, after you were soaking wet, like what happened? Did you get to dry off before you had fun? Like what are the logistics of when you were soaked?
So we didn't really know the rain was coming. So that was kind of a surprise for all involved, which kind of just added to the whole thing. I think once I got unlocked, they had been fucking all weekend. Like every time I turned around, they were fucking. Like we were outside, we were like hanging out, smoking some cigars, and then I look over and like she's riding him right there outside. Like this place is completely secluded, so we could do whatever we wanted. I did go in. I do remember changing, but it wasn't time for me to play at that point, so I had to kind of just suck it up and deal with it. So
Yeah,
that was hot.
it wasn't his turn yet.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, has there ever been an experience where you thought was going to be amazing, it sounded great, and it ended up not being, or it just was a disaster or something like that? Did anything like that happen to y'all?
I remember one where she tied me up in the other room in the house, told the guy I wasn't there, and my
Oh, yeah.
balls were in like a clamp vice type thing. So like my balls were like stuck and I was like tied up, like she had me handcuffed. And then she put my phone right there, which went to the camera in the bedroom. So I'm watching the whole thing unfold. He comes over, he's hung, he's sexy, whatever. And right before he pulls his pants down, I see he has a gun. And I'm like, okay, well, we need to come up with a better solution here on how we. So he just had it on him, normal, like
He was a firefighter. I don't know why he had a gun, but
normal New Hampshire guy, you know. So it wasn't a thing, but it started to make us think about, well, maybe we need to worry about safety a little bit more, not just what's the hottest thing going on. Maybe that's someone that we want to play with a few times to make sure we know for sure before we go down that path again. So that one was kind of
I forgot about
a little
that.
scary. Yeah,
The gun.
yeah.
Sounds like it would have been terrifying.
I don't know what I would have done at that point
I
in time.
didn't-
My goodness.
I didn't see the gun, so I had no idea until after. And he was like, he had a fucking gun. I was like, oh, I didn't know.
Aren't you pretty glad that you didn't know at the time?
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't know, like, what do I do? You have to leave? You have a gun. Like, I don't even know what I would have done in that situation if I saw the gun.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
I was slightly tied up, so there's nothing I could do. So,
Yeah, that is the scary thing. Like safety is something that you really have to consider with these things, especially because, you know, Roxy and Lexie a lot of times are alone with another guy. Lexie will often, you know, spend a long time talking to a guy before she heads to a bedroom. So at least that makes me feel better. And a lot of times it's guys that she's been talking to online or something like that. So it's very rare that she just hooks up with just like a stranger on the same. It happens, but sometimes it's like a guy she meets at a bar or something like that. But safety is something that I do worry about, especially if I'm there. I'm a little bit, I'm okay, but if I'm not there, I do worry. We check in, you know, I look at her locations, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and this was a situation like she had talked to the guy for a while. She knew where he worked, had his name, where he was from. So it wasn't like, and I don't think we would get into. We do some public play. We've been to adult theaters, glory holes. That's all like super safe. We're going to use condoms anytime we get involved in something like that. We're not dragging any of those guys back to the hotel. Actually, we did once. I'd lie. Actually, that was a crazy time too. There was a guy who we were at the Art Cinema in Hartford, Connecticut, an adult theater, and this guy comes over and she's fooling around, and there's a spotlight right in the middle of the place, and she's sitting there, and dudes are coming over, and she's having fun. And the last guy who she blew ended up leaving the same time we did. And I'm like, okay, this is a little weird. So I walk to the car and I open up the passenger door and I put her in. I close the door. We drive off. And she's like, I think he's following us. I'm like, there's no way he's following us. Well, we got a hotel room down there. So as we drive, she's like, no, he's behind us. So we get to the parking lot. I park. Sure enough, he drives behind us. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to kill someone. This is no good. So we go in and we get our room and we're standing in line and he comes in like right behind her. They wanted like my license plate number. I didn't have it. So she was going to go back out and get it. So she went towards the door to go get my license plate. And then he turned around to walk towards the door. So now I start going towards him like, why are you following her outside? But he stops and turns around and looks at like, the vacation things that you can do, the little pamphlets and stuff. I'm like, okay, this is weird. So we get the room and we go upstairs and we have to walk up one flight of stairs and I come out the door and he ends up doing something at the counter and then follows us up the stairs as well. So as soon as he opens that door, I slam the door behind him and I push him up against the wall. And I'm like, what's your fucking problem? He's like, dude, I swear to God, this is a coincidence. This isn't what it looks like. If I was you, I would have called the cops already. He's like, I'm not trying to sleep with her. And he was freaking out because, of course, I got him pinned up against the wall. So, of course, being the douche that I am, I'm like, so you're saying she's not good enough to rape? Are you kidding me? What's wrong with you? He's like, what? What? Oh, my God. I'm like, I'm joking. He ended up actually being in the room across from us, which is crazy. So we left, we got something to eat, we came back. He was coming out of his room to find something to eat. We talked a little bit. He was a super cool guy, no big deal. He went, got something to eat, came back. And then someone had the bright idea, maybe I should go across the room, the hallway naked and knock on his door with a condom and see if he wants to fuck. So she did. So now he comes back after eating and she's like knocking on his door, totally naked in this hotel with a condom. She's holding up at the little peephole like, hey, do you want to fuck? So she went in there for a little bit, and like his mind was just blown. Like it was just crazy coincidence all around. And that's a story as a guy. Like, who do you tell? I was hanging out at an adult theater. I got my dick sucked by what ended up being a porn star, and then I happened to be across the hallway. I followed them back, and then she just showed up naked at my door to fuck. Like that situation was.
No one's gonna believe him.
No, at all. No, you can't tell that story. Especially his wife. I'm sure she wouldn't be happy with it. So. He was there for business.
Yeah, no kidding.
Let's hope that she was aware. Goodness.
So, Lexie, you want to take that one?
Yeah. So, if you guys had to choose one item off the Cuckold menu that best represents your relationship today, what would it be? And has that answer changed over the years?
Well, like the threesome thing?
Well, it used to be. More like humiliation now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, say that louder so they can hear you.
Sorry, I do the worst interviews ever. I swear it feels like I do.
No, you're fine.
Go ahead.
So we're probably more into humiliation now than we were before. Like, I think on the menu, there's like threesomes and stuff, something a little bit more vanilla, which is probably where we kind of started at the beginning. And now it's just her playing alone. A lot more humiliation now. That seems to be what I'm really
A lot
into.
more. We didn't start out with like doing humiliation at all.
No.
I was terrified to like be mean to him in the beginning of the cuck stuff.
Why? You're so good at it.
I'm so good at it. I'm like really, really good at it. But I was terrified to like call him names or tell him he had a little dick. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, it's so nice
That's
because
understandable.
no, Roxy and Lexie look like two super, like if you met them in like at the grocery store, you would think, oh, they're so nice and sweet. And I'm
Such innocent little things.
just by knowing what comes out of Lexie's mouth when she's like teasing me, like I can only imagine, Roxy, what would you say? I mean, Lexie, do you have a hard time too, like being mean or that kind of stuff, or is it easy now?
I mean, it's definitely a lot easier. It's become much easier. But yeah, no, at first it's a tightrope walk. You're trying to figure out what you can get away with, what he wants, what's going to be
Yeah.
too much for him. It's a little nerve-wracking because you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I know he wants me to be mean, but I don't want to be too mean. How do I know?
Right.
And so you
Like
just gotta feel it out.
how mean do you want me to be? Usually after like a play session, if I'm like really mean, we finish and I'm like, I didn't mean any of that. Like it's okay. Like
Well, that's where the aftercare comes from.
Yeah, that's really so tell me about the aftercare because that's I love that you just said that, Roxy. The like after the scene's done, you kind of reassure Ben. So what does the aftercare look like for y'all?
it's a lot of me being like, I didn't mean the things that I said. I love you. Like if it was like really intense, I'll like hold him, make sure he's okay, make sure he's feeling okay. Um, but yeah, definitely big on the aftercare.
Yeah, I mean, and I can just tell from looking at you two how much you love each other, and that's the thing about that I think a lot of people miss about our relationship dynamic is we are deeply in love. I mean, we care about each other's well being very, very much,
Yeah.
and so I mean, I know Lexi doesn't want to see me hurt, and
Just the right amount.
just the right amount of hurt. But she always does what you do, Roxy. She'll check in afterwards and all that stuff. And I think that's critical, like the holding and all that stuff. Like that is important because it does, it's a scene, it's a game, but it can take a toll on you.
Yeah,
It can
I
take a
imagine.
toll on you because your body doesn't know, right? Like your not to get too sciency, but your amygdala doesn't know that you're not actually under threat, right? Like your brain
Right.
doesn't know. Your lizard brain thinks that this is real. And so a lot of times the spouse, the partner has to kind of shake you back into like, nope, that this was pretend. It was a game. Like we're okay. I'm not going anywhere. And I think that's important for cucks to hear and for those in the dynamic to hear is that what's going on in the cuck brain is yes, we like it, but remember our brain is a human brain. So a lot of times it can't tell the difference between real threat and not real threat. It doesn't that your brain doesn't know if you're in an office building or if you're being chased by a lion. A threat is a threat.
Well,
Right.
and I think cuckolding is very mentally like a mental BDSM. Like it's
Mhm.
the same. It's just the mental version of what you would physically have to do aftercare for as well. Like if I got tied up and beaten, spanked, paddled, there'd be aftercare for that. You're gonna have to do the same thing for like the mental piece of it too. That's really what the aftercare is about. Bring you back to center, calm you down. To your point, like your brain doesn't understand, that I'm not being chased by a lion. Everything's okay. Like so. I think you
Yeah.
can't underestimate the mental impact of this type of play in a relationship and on a person.
100%. Now you all are doing so much work on normalizing cuckolding. Where do you think it's going to be in 10 years?
Hmm.
Do you think it's going to be in the same place? Do you think it's going to be more normalized? I know it's becoming more popular. I mean, lifestyle dynamics are becoming more popular in general, but where do you see it going in the future?
We're hoping to normalize it, more people to understand it, but we need to normalize it more in the lifestyle first.
Mhm.
Um,
Agreed.
in 10 years, I mean, God, who knows where we'll be.
I think a lot of it will depend on where society goes. Like if we become more conservative, then you're not going to see it. It's going to be more underground. And again, I think to Roxy's point, if we could just normalize it within the lifestyle itself, that this is just one segment of the lifestyle, it's okay to do that, we would be doing really well. I don't think in 10 years it'll become too mainstream, but I mean, again, it's really more about don't kink shame. It's not just cuckold and just normalize whatever you want to do. Like as long as it's not unethical and you're not hurting anyone, it's not illegal. Like you should just be allowed to do it without people looking down on you for it. So if we could just head down that path, I think we'd be doing pretty good.
Well, and I feel
Yeah.
like it's becoming more, not mainstream, but it's becoming more and more talked about. There's more people coming forward, more people are discovering it. Um, more people are talking about it than ever before by far. And it's starting to gain some traction.
And you're seeing a lot more poly relationships too. Um,
Yes.
everyone these kids these days and their poly relationships, like you see a lot of that, and I think that helps open up, um, society or at least groups of people as a whole to like alternative lifestyles and alternative ways to live. I have a friend who just got divorced. He's trying to get back into the scene, and as he goes around, he's like in his 40s now. He's like everyone's poly now. Like he's like, I don't know how to have relationships anymore. Like everyone has multiple relationships. So watching him navigate that makes me very happy that I'm married and I don't have to try to do that. But there's a lot of that going on out there, and I think that helps kind of bring everything to the forefront. This is just one of many different things or different ways people have decided to have their relationship, and it's okay. So maybe
Yeah.
maybe them damn kids will, you know,
Yeah.
open things up a little bit more for the rest of us.
If Gen Z starts having sex, I mean that's the word on the street is that they're face down in their screens, and there's a lot less of that going on, a lot less physical activity.
Well,
That's
and we see that
understandable.
too, like, even trying to find, like, bulls and stuff. We'll have, like, 19-year-old kids hit us up and be like, "I'll be your bull."
You're
Could
like,
be,
shut up, go play with your games.
but, like,
Play with you, G.I. Joes.
looking at a lot of, like, younger kids, to your point, they're always, like, in their phones and stuff, so having those interactions, just trying to, figure out how to talk to people and have relationships seems to be a struggle, like, a lot of places that we've gone to, like, again, adult theaters and stuff, occasionally someone who's 18 or 19 might show up and, like, they're just flabbergasted by what's going on and they run, like, right out, but, like, you never see anyone, like, that age really go out there to try to explore, and I don't know if it's because of the way technology is now that they're just focused on that's how we communicate is through, you know, Telegram and on FetLife and stuff, and then no one actually shows up to things. I mean, we throw parties like crazy and everyone RSVPs and then no one ever shows up. Like, that's always one of the biggest
Mm,
problems that we run into, so.
that sucks. So if every listener could leave this episode remembering just like one thing about cuckolding, what would you want that message to be?
I want them to know that cucks are an amazing breed of men. They're selfless, open, honest about their feelings, um, and they're way more mature than most men out there. I just want everyone to know how amazing cucks are.
Oh,
I agree completely.
Yeah.
thank you. That's
Mhm.
actually really nice. Thanks, Roxy.
Yeah. You're
Sweet.
welcome. You're an amazing breed of men.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks, Ben. Anything from you? Anything that you want to leave people thinking about, or a key takeaway?
Just don't shame people for what they're into. Like, especially don't shame people for things you don't understand. Just
Mm.
because, what's normal to you is not normal to someone else. Like, I can assure you that what I would not think twice about in my life, someone else would be absolutely appalled that I'm doing. Like, this weekend, we're gonna go back to a nude river out in Vermont. Um, Roxy may or may not play with a couple of guys who are there. That's just a normal Saturday for me, that's my normal. So don't don't be too judgy about what other people's normals are because your normal isn't normal to me. So, let's just be open and let everyone enjoy life the way that they want to.
Well
Damn right.
said.
Damn right. So we really appreciate you having on. We really appreciate you being on. Where can folks find you?
They can find us at roxydover.com, and you will find all of our links to all of our websites, all of our normalized cuckolding stuff. It's all on that.
The Twitter, Loyal Fans, Many Vids, Blue Sky, all of it is all connected to roxydover.com. So just remember that. You're good to go.
Yeah, and roxydover.com is an awesome website, folks. Go check it out, and you'll see the literal cuckold menu that we've been talking about, the cuck spectrum. There is a lot of good shit on there. Like, go on there and just enjoy researching this stuff, learn about it. There was stuff on that menu that I had never seen before. So I feel like the more we do this podcast, the more I'm learning from different couples and all that stuff and all the research we have to do. It's been really fascinating. So definitely go to roxydover.com.
Yep. We do have one listener question that came in from our Blue Sky. They said, would both of you be happy if Lexie fell in love with another man and divided her time equally between her husband and staying at her boyfriend's house, also including going on week or fortnight-long vacations with her boyfriend? I would like to hear both Lexie and Chris answer, please.
I'm just impressed that they used the word fortnight. And
I was
I was just going to say that.
too.
Does this come from England?
I think it came from a guy who is in Ireland, if I remember correct. At least I think that the handle is something about an Irish guy. But we're going to have you two weigh in on this one too. Lexie and I will take it first. So, I mean, Lexie, what's your point of view on if you fell in love with a guy and going on a weekend trip or something like that? What are your thoughts?
So, weekend trips, yes. I'm down for that, I love exploring, I love traveling, I love camping, I love, the beach, I love weekend trips. I don't think I could really see myself falling in love with someone else. I don't think I see that as likely at all or even in the realm of possibility. It just doesn't seem like something I would do. Um, and I even if I did, I would not divide my time equally. The majority of my time would be with Chris.
I mean, I feel like falling in love with somebody else that falls more into like that poly space that we were just talking about. But if she were to have feelings for a guy, fall in love with him, like I guess it wouldn't bother me that much. I mean, it would be maybe a little bit harder to take, just knowing that there's an emotional connection there. I just don't think logistically she could, spend equal amount of time. Now you did get very, very close to going and spending a week with a guy on a vacation, that earlier this summer. And like, I had signed off on, at first I was like, whoa, that is way too long. And, we had compromised and gotten it to where we agreed on a week and then it fell apart. But so I'm open to it. Like, I don't mind her spending time with other guys and going out, especially we've said this multiple times, but if it's something that I really don't want to do, like going camping or some shit like that I just have zero interest in doing, fine, go have a weekend camping, and I will go, watch sports or just hang out and rest. I just have zero interest in doing that. It's almost a favor to me. But what do you think, Ben and Roxy? Like, how would you feel if, Ben, how would you feel if Roxy fell in love with somebody? Roxy, would you ever do that?
I don't see myself ever falling in love with anyone else. Definitely maybe catching some feelings more than friend feelings. Um, but I don't catch feelings easily. So I don't see myself going down the path of falling in love with another guy. And if I did, I probably would nip it in the is it bud?
Bud.
Nip it in the bud, and probably stop communication because I don't want to go down that path. I don't wanna split my time up from him, or take time away from him. Weekends away, I could totally do a weekend. I couldn't do a week, that's impressive. Um, but I could do a weekend away with a guy, but definitely not fall in love. That's no.
You could go away for a weekend. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that.
Yeah, I know you're okay with me going away for a weekend.
For me, it's hard to say unless you're actually in the situation. It'd have to be a very special person. Like, I wouldn't rule it out simply because we're not in that situation. We have had, like, girlfriends before, like, had a little throuple going on a couple times. So, I wouldn't rule it out. I don't necessarily like the idea. For me, again, not to judge anyone, I'm not open to, like, a poly relationship because I wanna be someone's number 1, and I want someone to be my number 1, and I feel like that's what I know I need. I need to be someone's priority. I want to be I wanna be important to someone to that level. So maybe if there's, like, a boyfriend on the side or something, it'd be okay. But again, logistically, like, that's a nightmare. Like, when are you gonna spend time there? And you've got work and a bazillion other things. When would you even have time for it? But again, if it was the right person, maybe. But for me, my initial response would be like, I'm not into that piece of it. I want to be her husband and be number 1 to her. So
Yeah,
And you,
that makes sense. I think that makes a lot of sense. I guess for me, it's a little bit more just like I worry that, you know, I I encourage Lexie to go out and have fun and all that stuff. And if she catches feelings, like I can't be pissed off at her about that. Like I guess that's my biggest concern is I just don't want to be the guy to be like, no, you can't do this, and I'm the one who told you to do it. So,
Well, and
but
that's part of the cuck thing. Like you want to play with that fire. Like you want to go
right,
in, like you don't know what's going to happen. You get off on that thought. So
right,
then if it happens, yeah, you can't be the asshole who's like, oh, well, not now. Like now it's too real. I pushed for this and now it's here. And like you're going to have to kind of let it develop and see what happens. But
yeah.
Exactly.
I think communication is key. But Ben and Roxy, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate everything you're doing to educate people and create a more accepting conversation around cuckolding. It's so important. Whether someone agrees with this lifestyle or not, I think we can all agree that healthy relationships are built on honesty, communication, consent, and trust. And that's exactly what today's conversation was about. And this goes back to what I was saying. I think vanilla couples can learn a lot from us. And to everybody listening, thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow the podcast, leave us a 5-star review, and share it with somebody who you think might enjoy the conversation. Until next time, have some naughty fun together. Lexie, you want to say bye to everybody?
Bye, guys.